I've been reading the Bible carefully, and what stands out to me is how often it asks me to hold two truths at the same time. I read that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that I was known, seen, considered before I was fully formed. And then I read that I was shaped in iniquity, conceived in sin. So humanity begins both intentional and impaired. Not later, but at the start. I read that we are children of God, created by Him, claimed by Him. And then I read that our iniquities separate us from Him, which means belonging and distance exist at the same moment. I read that God knows all things, that His understanding has no limit, that all His works were known from the beginning. So nothing about humanity was unforeseen, which makes me pause when sin enters through Adam and spreads to all. Because later I read that each soul answers for itself, that a child does not carry the guilt of the parent. So, which is it? Did we fall together? Or do we stand alone? I read the law calling for balance, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Then Christ asks for surrender. Turn the other cheek, love your enemy. Justice doesn't disappear, it's exposed. Grace doesn't cancel the law, it shows where the law stops working. I read that God takes no pleasure in the death of the wicked, that He is not willing that any should perish. And then I read that many do. That the way to destruction is broad, that the way to life is narrow. Which leave me asking where divine desire ends and human freedom begins. I read that faith saves. Then I read that faith without works is dead. So belief isn't agreement, it's alignment. I read that wisdom is given to those who ask. And then I read that God's thoughts are not ours. Yet the Bible preserves the voices of the people who asked anyway. Job questioned justice, the prophet questioned silence, disciples questioned meaning. Even Christ asked why. So questioning doesn't sit outside faith, it sits at the center of it. I read that no one without sin has the right to cast a stone, and I read that sin leads to death, that love covers many sins, yet judgment remains final. At some point, I stopped trying to make it neat, because the Bible doesn't read like a system designed to comfort. It reads like a record of humanity meeting God while living inside consequence. So when I ask these questions, I'm not rejecting faith. I'm refusing to pretend it's simple. We listen, then we judge, not God, not scripture, but whether we are brave enough to let faith stay complex without silencing the question that keeps it honest.